Okay, so you've recently decided to get back into your art and have chosen to tackle watercolors. You have mostly everything you need supply-wise, except for the most important thing, motivation. It's like you've forgotten how to paint or draw things and you think it's starting to overwhelm you and kill not only your motivation, but also your confidence. And now you wonder, is there a way to trick yourself into getting back on track? If this is you, then keep on watching. Because in this video, I'll share some tips and tricks that will help you get back into painting after a long dry spell. First, you want to accept the time you haven't painted in a while and then just move on. When you haven't painted in a while and want to get back into art, it's very easy to feel guilty. You might be thinking, why have I stopped painting? I probably lost all my abilities to even hold a brush, and I could have been so much better by now if I hadn't stopped. First of all, you haven't lost anything. You will probably need some time to warm up again, but that's normal. And you won't need to put in the same amount of time into getting back on track as the time you might have previously invested. And instead of bashing yourself and feeling guilty that you might have missed days, weeks, months, or even years, just accept the fact that you simply took a break and that it's okay, and then move on. So instead of wasting the time dwelling on the past, just see this as an opportunity to start over. Start showing up for yourself again and focus on the present moment and on the future. Start putting in time and effort into developing your art skills and, most importantly, to have fun again. And sometimes we do just need a break so our brain can process and we can refill our creative tank with new ideas and things we now want to incorporate into our art. Which brings me to the next point. Find or remind yourself of your why. What was the reason you started painting in the first place? Sometimes we can get caught up with life that we simply forget how relaxing painting can be. Or you might have felt frustrated with your progress because you kept comparing yourself to others. I know it's so easy to get distracted by what everyone is doing and how great everyone is, that it's easy to lose yourself in all this noise. So instead of looking at everyone else's highlight reels, put your blinders on, get off social media, and reconnect with your why. Have you started painting because you wanted to express yourself, to relax after a long day of work? Maybe you wanted to feel accomplished by every artwork you create. Or maybe you just wanted to add beauty into the world with your own hands. Whatever it is, make sure to check in with yourself to keep you on track. Set yourself up for success. As I said in my previous video about how to create art when you feel tired or don't feel like it, you want to make the process for you to start to paint as easy as possible. So create a small space for yourself that has everything that you'll need and that invites you to paint. This way it will be easier for you to pick up your brush and paint to really reconnect with your creativity. And then you don't want to wait for inspiration to strike because otherwise, you'll never get started. Just sit down and start. And an easy way to do that is to start small. One of the most challenging parts of getting back into painting after a long break is sitting down and beginning to paint. Instead of being overwhelmed by the idea of creating a big painting and getting frustrated, start with a small and simple painting exercise. You don't have to overthink the whole process either. Take a big sheet of paper and divide it into smaller sections. From there, you can use the small space to create small paintings using different techniques and colors. A few strokes and off to the next. If you make a mistake, not a big deal. You can also start with simple things like swatching your colors, creating color charts, and creating different color combinations. And all these exercises also help you to reconnect your senses to the painting process. How the brush feels in your hand, how the paint moves and behaves when you work with it. You really want to give your body the chance to physically recognize the process of painting and get excited for more. And if you feel like you simply don't have much time to paint, that's okay, because you don't need to spend 4 hours of painting to make it count. Instead, take it step by step and enjoy the process. Decide to sit down and paint for only 10 or 20 minutes, and that's it. If you find yourself having more time at some point, amazing. It's like going back to the gym after a long break. You don't start with heavy lifting and millions of repetitions for 3 hours. You just do simple exercises with light weights to remind your body that the gym actually still exists. Release the pressure you put on yourself. Instead of putting so much pressure on yourself because you know what you used to be capable of and being afraid that you won't be able to get back to that, be kind to yourself. Creating art is a form of meditation, self-expression, and an opportunity to take care of your mental health by helping you to slow down and to relax. It's not about bashing yourself, living up to made-up expectations, and creating one masterpiece after the other. Remind yourself that it's not about creating and having a quality end result, but whether or not you made the time to make something for yourself. Because even if you only painted for 15 minutes and you need to go back to doing something else, you still just spent 15 minutes of quality time with yourself that helped you ground yourself and relax for just a few moments. Build momentum. As the quote says, body in motion stays in motion. You want to keep going. As I said earlier, start small and with just simple painting exercises so you can create momentum of painting regularly. This way you can develop a habit to paint just even for a little bit, and it won't feel like something you might not want to do all the time, but something that you need to do for yourself. And to be able to create momentum, you want to make time for your art in the first place, right? Make time for your art. If you're someone who always tells herself that once all your daily tasks and chores are finished, then you will pick up your brush and start painting. But we all know that this will never happen because there's just always something we have to do first, right? So you sitting down to paint something might actually never happen. Instead of allowing this to happen over and over again, you might want to pick a time where you have time just for yourself and you won't be distracted. Maybe it's in the morning when everyone is still asleep, so you can truly be productive. And if you feel like there's no way to make more time, you can always make a commitment. You can commit to putting yourself first because you know everything starts with you being your best self. And therefore, you need to dedicate time and develop a habit to showing up for yourself by creating a time and space for you to relax, to unwind, and to have fun. Develop the habit to create art. The easiest way to get into a habit of doing something is not only by making it super simple for you to start, but also by turning the process into a ritual. It might be turning on cozy lights or candles, making a cup of coffee or your favorite tea. Maybe play some nice music that sets the mood. As I said earlier, everything starts with you being your best self. Therefore, you must treat yourself as a priority in your life and treat the time you set for yourself as a non-negotiable and precious time that needs to be treated as such. And developing a habit and ritual for you to paint can make a huge difference. Find topics to paint that excites you the most. And to make it even more fun, pick topics that you truly care about. If you used to paint cars or houses and at some point you stopped because you felt bored, maybe it was just because you couldn't care less about these topics. Maybe it was not fun at all because you didn't have any connection to these topics. So think about what really lights you up. Is there something that you really like? You can even go back to some of your older paintings that you really enjoyed painting and just recreate those so you can reconnect to your favorite topics again. And lastly, you want to be willing to fail. Because in my opinion, there are no real failures. As Nelson Mandela said, you either win or you learn, you never lose. You can't learn and get better at something if you don't create crappy art, try it over and over again by observing what you can improve the next time you try. And to get you started, I actually created my very first watercolor book called No Fail Watercolor. It's all about helping you to get out of your own way, to finally start painting, embracing the fun part of watercolor painting, and develop the growth mindset. Because there are no failures. Everything is a valuable experience and nothing is wasted, but it's a waste to do nothing at all. You can now pre-order the book by following the link right below this video. And when you pre-order, you get some special gifts and some other exciting things coming up. I really hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!